How's it going today, everybody? Can y'all hear me? Can you see me? How's everything looking? How's everything going? Hope that y'all are doing all right out there. Today, of course, we're going to joke around and have a little bit of fun for your entertainment about fragrance. We'll talk about fragrance news, as we always do, the new upcoming fragrances. Let me get that pulled up here. Let's see if we can find anything interesting this week, and we'll see if there's anything we want to talk about regarding that. I kind of have a topic in a way on my mind, but of course, let's talk about what fragrances we've been getting into, any new fragrances we bought, and all that good stuff. So I see a couple people popping in here. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're always welcome here. Centaur Fragrance Channel, of course. Hey there, Sam Broom Fragrances. Good to see you, my friend. Again, I do try to give shout outs and try to build up the Fragcom. If you don't know Sam Broom, check out his channel, see what he's got going on over there. He's a cool guy, cool cat. And he does explore affordable fragrances and really relatable guy. So I'm doing good. What are you up to? What's your scent of the day? For me, I'm wearing Armaf Niche Platinum. It's pretty affordable. Again, I've kind of compared it to Platinum Egoist in the past. I don't know if it's not terribly similar. It's more of like a sweet, modern, woody myrrh fragrance, and I really enjoy it. It's the only fragrance I have in my collection that I have an actual backup bottle of. And it just for me is kind of relaxing, but also kind of fancy at the same time. Yeah, the Armaf Niche line is pretty strong. Some people don't like Armaf. Some of them are hits and misses. Some of them are kind of clones of some other, of fragrances. But the Niche line, at least as far as I know, is fairly original. Again, it might take a little bit of inspiration from the, Platinum Egoist, but it's not very similar at all. Oh, you have five of them. I used to have the oud, the Armaf Niche oud. I got tons of compliments from it, but sometimes I like to smell the fragrance on myself, and it was one of those fragrances that if I smelled it up close to me on my skin, it smelled like Play-Doh, and that's something I really don't like. But I got tons of compliments, and the performance was pretty darn good on the Niche oud. And again, some people don't think that oud can be complemented in the West or in the USA, and it can be. It's possible. Not always the case, but it can be. Angel, good to see you, Angel. You're welcome. You're very, good to see you. Welcome to my channel, Centaur Fragrance. If you want to pop in, and always let me know how long have you been watching, how did you find me, and if you want to share, what do you like about, or maybe what do you dislike about my fragrance channel we have going on over here. Sam Broom Fragrances said the oud is great. Yeah, the oud one is a pretty strong performer and pretty well complimented. I was surprised at how well it was complimented, and happy that it works well for you. Again, my skin chemistry really highlights and does seem to do really well with ouds and woods. And tobaccos and coffees. And I love tobaccos and coffees anyway, so that's always a good thing with when you find certain things work on your skin that you actually like. Anyways, what have y'all been buying? Any new fragrances? Again, I am not affiliated with Fragrance by CA at all, but they did have I'm not sure if it's still going on. I think it still might be for a day or two, but they have like their 10% off sale. And I'm not sure, it might be sold out already. If you get it there early, like I did, I think I have two samples of the Niche line. I think it's from Prada. And I haven't reviewed any of those. I don't think I've even smelled any of those. So I hope that's what I'm getting. If I remember right, I got those, and those were like add-ons for free. So I'm excited about that. I have another. I think it's like Schoghoff. I think that's the name of the fragrance. It's by the same people who made. I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering. I talk about it all the time. It's a fragrance that has some inspiration from Lancome's Oud Bouquet. I can picture it in my Rogba by Latafa. It's I think it's from that same house. Anyways, excited to share that with y'all. It was only $25, and I've heard really good things about it. So I have high hopes for that. I have that cashmere fragrance from Bentley from their Niche line. Supposedly that thing retails for like $250, which is a lot of money for a fragrance. But They have it for like $80, and I got 10% off. So I got it for close to 70. So I'm happy about that. I hope that it's good. I've heard that some people think it's simple. I've heard some people think that it's very unisex. Some people, it's not their vibe, but I have this idea in my head that's going to be like a suede fragrance that's like a higher quality 1 million Lucky. And if my suspicions are right, I'm going to be happy about it. So I have that on the way, and I have a bottle on the way of Prada El Homme. Not Prada El Homme, a Prada. Well, it is the Le Homme, the O version, the fresher version. And I've heard some people think or say that that fragrance is simple as well, but I'm excited for it. I'm happy to finally get my nose on that one. Even if it's simple, if it works as a dependable, easy to wear, dumb reach, freshy fragrance, I'm going to be happy with it. I mean, it was only like $35 or so, and with the discount, I mean, it was close to $30 for a 50 mil. It wasn't a full 100. The scent of the night is Gia Versace Versus. Oh, the Versus. I have tried that one. And if y'all have never tried the Versace Versus, there are fragrance trends, and fragrance trends are really popular fragrances usually are just really in life. Things usually don't come out of the blue. There's usually something that precedes it. Prove that it was something desirable. Prove that it was something desirable in the marketplace. And actually, Versace Versus has that blue shampoo vibe. There might have been a fragrance that had that blue shampoo vibe before Versus, but as far as I know and that I've smelled, it's the first one that I know of. And it came out before Bleu de Chanel, and I don't know if it was a really super popular fragrance, but I do think it proved a point that it came out before Bleu de Chanel or Sauvage. So when I smelled that fragrance, I was actually very surprised that nobody had really talked about that fragrance and made that point. And Versace Versus is kind of a historical fragrance in that way. I don't know if it was extremely popular, but the DNA worked, and maybe it didn't sell terribly well, but somebody saw the potential with Bleu de Chanel, and they ran with it, and they the rest is history, as they say. Nezia, good to see you. Says, yo, Ben, welcome. Everybody popping in, welcome. Feel free to say hello. What's your scent of the day? Maybe a fragrance that you've been buying or loving. You don't necessarily have to buy fragrance. Maybe you fell in love with another fragrance. And some of us have big collections. Maybe you need to dust off your fragrance and fall in love with it all over again. So Anthony Concepcion, I always love your name. How you doing, my friend? It's a barbershop scent. I love it. Yeah, it is. It is a bit of a fougere, but it does have, in my opinion, if I'm thinking of the right one, a little bit of that blue shampoo vibe mixed in. So, anyways, are y'all ready for some fragrance news, or do y'all want to hear about my topic of sorts? My topic of sorts might be some people consider it a little bit negative. It's not terribly negative. I think it comes from a good place. It's more of me really just joking around. And I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this topic. So, again, this isn't really focused on fragrance. It actually is a big topic, and I want to make a bigger YouTube video, maybe on another YouTube channel outside of this one, about this topic. So, I guess I'll give you a little bit of history about where this thought comes from. Really, I've always had this thought anyways, but it was proven to me right in my face again. So I've tried to stream a little bit on Twitch, and some people, it's not complaining, but I've watched some people, and some people aren't great at games. And honestly, I'm not trying to put down on other Twitch players, but there's a game in specific that I've played very well. I'm on my 6th playthrough. There's all kinds of different factions or clans or like characters, and I'm actually very good at the game. And it's funny that I've watched people, and they're not willing to learn or get into the lore, and they struggle. They're actually terrible at it. And I'm curious, why do y'all think that some people like to watch people? Is it because it's fun to see people struggle? Is it fun to see people who maybe don't understand the game as well? For me personally, just like with fragrance, why I make in-depth fragrance reviews or fragrances that I guess are more to the point. If I was to watch somebody on Twitch, if I was to watch somebody sports or anything that's competitive, I want to see somebody who's excellent. I want to see somebody maybe who is the best of the best. And for me personally, you know, there's been a couple times on Twitch where I've watched some people and they're just terrible. And it's a funny world. It's a funny world that some people get so popular, and then if you actually try to give them hints to the game, not spoilers. I understand not spoiling a book or a story or a movie, but giving them like hints, like they actually ask for the hint and you give it to them, and then they act annoyed if you know the answers. And that happened with somebody, and I knew the answers. I certainly did, and it's it's very funny, very funny indeed. Let's see here. I bought Versus at my mom and pop shop. Oh, Fritz, good to see you pop in here. Good to see you. Same, Sam. Yes, in the house. It says you bought it 3 weeks ago, but I found it a little bit simple comparatively. Yeah, Versus. You know, if you are deeper into the fragrance game, it might not be that different, but it had that twist on it, having that blue DNA, and maybe when it came out, that was different. For a lot of us, again, it's good, kind of good to keep a perspective. Like when Blue Day Chanel came out, and when Sauvage came out, not a lot smelled like that. Right now, currently, might seem boring, might seem generic. Everybody's made a clone of it. Every company's made their own version of it, just about, with a blue DNA. Just like with Invictus. Invictus is everywhere. Invictus has grandchildren, stepchildren, and might not feel that original anymore. But when it first came out, I guess it's perspective. I kind of like to look at the original, or maybe which ones did it the best. But I know what you're saying. It might not excite you that much anymore. Angel O says, my scent of the day is Oak Moss by Morris Motley. Not very familiar with that fragrance. You'll have to let me know if it's good, or if you recommend it. Is it a layerable fragrance? Again, when I hear fragrances that have single names, like single notes, that gets me thinking of layerable fragrances. And I will try to get y'all a video on the Acro Discovery set. Again, I have some Discovery sets and some other content to make. But Acro, some people you can wear them individually, just like Le Labo. Le Labo intentionally are layerable fragrances. I don't know if Acro actually has that a part of their branding or their intention, and that if they actually tell people that. But not only are their fragrances pretty good, but I felt that they would be good for actually layering. And when I smelled those, I wasn't expecting that. But Acro, actually pretty nice. And for the price, maybe they upped their prices. Some companies have been doing that recently, like Serge Lutens, for example. But last time I looked, they were like 150 or so, which is not bad. And I think they were 100 mils as well. Fritz says, I'm wearing Man Pure by Jill Sander, 1981 classic, strong with the 80s vibe. I'm not too familiar with that one. You'll have to let me know what it's all about. But there were some great 80s powerhouse fragrances. Some were kind of animalic. Some were kind of had that strong, classy patchouli vibe. But the performance on some of those were pretty darn strong. Can't stop wearing this. Happy that you like it, Angel. Evening all. Scent of the night is Jeremy's Date for Men. How's that working for you? Do you like it? I actually have not gotten my nose and not reviewed that fragrance. I could get myself a decant. I don't know. Maybe somebody has one out there for a decent price. But I'm not willing to pay $10-15, especially for a couple mils of that. But maybe one of these days I'll review it. Let me know if y'all really want to see a review of that one. I have suspicions that I'm going to have very similar opinions overall. It's not the same fragrance, but similar opinions about the fragrance as I did with Office for Men. And again, I hope that that video, again, it's not the most viewed video. My channel usually isn't, but I feel like that was a very big video because, again, I put myself out there, and I was when I made that video. I believe, my memory could be wrong. Correct me, but I was the only person, I believe, who actually gave it more of a negative review, and then more people felt comfortable, and a few other people made some slightly mild or maybe not negative. And I'm not encouraging people to hate Jeremy or his fragrance, but there's no doubt about it. That's highly overpriced, and we won't get into it too much. You could watch the review, but there's lots of things he said regarding the fragrance, and there were issues regarding him, more of like Jeremy, than problems I guess with the marketing, I guess you could say, than Jeremy. Than his fragrance. His fragrance wasn't terrible, but we won't get into it, but we could. Anyways, I hope that you're enjoying it though, Ronald. Not trying to put down on your fragrance. If you love Date for Men, more power to you, Ronald. Fritz Sam Broom says, "What's up, Fritz?" Yes, we're a community here. I hope that everybody's friends here. We're all bringing everybody together. We're the family. Ben Cancillo in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Glad to be here. Got Bond 9 New York Knights. Mostly get caramel. Very good. I've been hearing good things about some of those. Again, some Bond number 9s are good, or some are better than others. Again, I hope that I haven't tried to put a bad light on them. Some people say that there's a couple good ones. I haven't tried the Dubai collection, and I've seen some really big discounts on those. I think I saw some place selling them for $200 or $250 odd dollars, which sounds like an awful lot of money, and that is a lot of money. Let's be honest. But if you pay full retail, those Dubai exclusives, I think, were $750. I think there was one that was even more expensive than that. That's a lot of money. That's scary. I can't afford stuff like that. Really. But anyways, the New York Knights. I've been hearing good things. Ches Bond. If I could find it for like 100, I don't even want to pay 150 for it. But maybe one of these days I'll get Ches Bond. There's some decent ones. Andy Warhol probably is the one that everybody knows and everybody says is good, and it was fantastic. But I haven't seen Bond really make a fragrance that's really, I don't know, gotten hype, really converted people back to the house or back to the brand. Maybe one of these days they'll turn things around. I don't know. Maybe they will. Randy Hayter, good to see you. Gemiel, good to see you, my friend, with the thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate those thumbs up. I don't know if it matters much, but thank y'all for the thumbs up. I do appreciate y'all who have. I do see that. Fritz says Jeremy is a complete bonkers insane, but somehow charisma reigns with him. Yeah, it's true. And I wasn't really trying to focus on Jeremy when I was talking about the Twitch people, but kind of a similar thing with Jeremy. If you have charisma, or somehow if people feel like you're more relatable, more people want to watch you, and then you somehow get popular. Again, for me, I want to watch somebody who's maybe not exactly, they don't have to be a professional exactly, but they have to be proficient, and they have to prove themselves, and they have to have a skill. And again, I kind of want to like Twitch or get involved with them. And it's the same way with YouTube. I almost want to do more, create more content. But again, I don't know how to approach it because I don't know. It's like if you're extremely skilled, and also the funny thing is with fragrance, it's I don't know. Let's talk about video games for a second. A lot of the video games that even require a lot of skill, like difficult survival shooters, like Metro Exodus, aren't even very popular, and it's funny. It's a funny world. Anyways, waiting for Herba Pura next week. It'll be a blind buy. I hope that one works really well for you. I've heard really good things about it. So you'll have to let me know if that one's a good one. Herba Pura with the blind buy, Ben. I hope that one's a good one. Fritz the Cat says, I really like Bleecker Street. It was a big hit. Yeah, Bleecker Street was nice. Andy Warhol, New Harlem, with that maple syrup vibe was one of their strongest ones. I think I tried it, but it might have faded from my memory, but it was Mall Talk. I think it's discontinued. That one was pretty well loved back in the day, and there was some hype behind by number 9. There used to be some talk, and it used to be a brand that was pretty well regarded, but it's kind of fallen out of favor, popularity, that's for sure. Ronald says, Date is okay fragrance, but I wouldn't spend more than $100 for 100 mil. I got it for $10 because of a website error. I wouldn't have ordered it full. A website error, you should have bought it all up. And if they canceled your order, maybe sue them. I love when that stuff happens. I met a lady one time, and I think Walmart mislabeled the item, and there was like a $30, $40, $50 difference between the price, and she only ordered one. And she didn't try to abuse it, but they tried to like correct her order and not give it to her for that price. And she was about to fight them big time. if somebody makes a mistake, it's kind of on you. It's I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. You don't want to offend your customer. I don't know. Could a company claim that on their insurance for like a mess up, like a loss or a negligence? I'm sure there's a way that they make their money back, but you don't. If you make a big mistake, you gotta. You can't take that back on a customer. That's why you got to be so careful. I think there's been a couple times where they have been, if it's something like a discrepancy, there have been times where, you know, they've given it to the customer, but I think there's been a few times where it's been something ridiculous, like $1 million or something. And I think that they've been able to win in their favor and not give it to the customer. So, anyways, $10, man. I would have probably been the guy to try to order 10 bottles or something. Ben Cancino says, I don't know why Jeremy gets hate. He seems like a cool guy, even responds to comments. Yeah, I don't hate him. It might be a personality thing, but if you do watch his content, maybe again, I've seen some people who say like, oh, they've met him and they think he's friendly. We shouldn't talk more about Jeremy Fragrance, but he seems to be a topic that always comes up. But if you do watch his content and pay attention to what he says things not only that sometimes are crazy to some people, but he says offensive things. There's no doubt about that. I don't want to get into it. I could make an hour-long video about many things that he said about Fragcom and people who love Oud to all kinds of things. But anyways, yeah, you shouldn't hate somebody. You shouldn't hate Jeremy. But as far as a credible, I don't know. Again, I don't want to call Jeremy a fragrance reviewer. I don't know what you would call him. A fragrance. I don't like the word. It's played out. Do you call him an influencer? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm grandstanding either. Either. But I review. I actually, I'm a critic of fragrances, and I almost feel like I'm a dying breed because there's almost nobody. There's a few people who are. Don't get me wrong. There's a few people who are still creating good content, but as far as individual fragrance reviews, I don't see very many people doing it anymore. Some people do it, but they do like back to back, like almost like first impressions of a fragrance, and do like little mini reviews. But actual sitting down like with an individual fragrance review, it's kind of a dying art. It's not. And if more people watched it, if more people were interested in that style, more people would create that. But the views don't seem to be there for that. So it's a funny world. It's a funny world. More people seem to be interested in Jeremy. So who am I to complain? I mean, Jeremy, he's proved himself. People watch him. So nah. Randy Hayter says, scent of the day is 21 Conduit Street. Have not tried Conduit Street. I'm not very familiar with that fragrance. Is it good? Is that a street? Is that another Bond number 9? I'm not very familiar with that. Let me know who makes that fragrance. So let's talk about fragrance news. Are y'all excited about fragrance news? Y'all didn't seem to be too interested in my topic, and that's fine. It was just some food for thought on why do certain people become popular. It's the same way with TikTok. I mean, some of them are entertaining, but some of the content I've seen is ridiculous or downright bad content, and people go gaga for it. It's the same. I could go on and on, but saw your review on 5 o'clock. Eau de Gingembre. It sounds good. Yes, by Serge Lutens. That is a good fragrance. 5 o'clock Eau de Gingembre. Hopefully I'm saying that wrong. I mean, right. Hopefully I'm not saying it wrong. Eau de Gingembre, nice fragrance. If you like spices, I do have a review coming out on another spicy fragrance. Ginger is actually surprisingly one of my favorite things I've found that I like in fragrances, and I might have to make a video about that. There's actually some ginger and Dolce & Gabbana The One snuck up in there. There's a bit of ginger and spice, I think, in Azzaro Wanted by Night. Randy Hayter says Javoy. Javoy. 21 Conduit Street is by Javoy. Not very familiar with that fragrance. Javoy does make some good stuff, though, that's for sure. Do you recommend it? Do you think it's a good one? Let me know. So let's talk about the fragrance news. Let's see if we can't find anything entertaining to us. any new fragrances. So let's see here. There's a new fragrance from Womo. I'm not very familiar with this brand. It's neroli, sandalwood, and coffee and fig. They say it's called Fig and Neroli. I don't know. Looks like it could be good. Not very familiar with it. Santal plus coffee. The brand bottles look kind of simple, but I'd like to try them and see if they work. There's a new Offnon. Let's look at the notes of this one. Offnon seems to be a brand that some people like and talk about. It's a new one called Supremacy. All of them are kind of called Supremacy as far as I know. So this is Not Only Intense. Don't know what that name is really about, but it says the notes are bergamot, apple, black currant, lavender, patchouli, oak moss, almost an Aventus DNA. Then you got notes of saffron, musk, and ambergris. So it's almost like an Aventus without the pineapple, and with added patchouli. I'm curious to see if it goes dark or smoky or what that does. I do like saffron. I'm curious about it to see how this one goes, depending on what's the balance or which notes pop out of that fragrance. That does look interesting. I do love the Supremacy in Heaven again, which is like more of a creamy sandalwood heavy, more of almost a simple version of Silver Mountain Water. I do enjoy it. Let's see here. Okay, no new comments. Feel free to jump in here. Feel free to share everything, my friends. A topic, your scent of the day, all that good stuff. Let's see here. We got some brands, a lot of new fragrances from La Chanae. Not familiar with that brand. Osmos Jeans, another niche house, not familiar. There's every week, again, guys, y'all know that there's lots of new fragrances and new brands that pop out, and everybody's trying to, try their hand at making fragrances. But it seems to me like and everybody mentions that more and more brands are coming out. It seems to be accelerating. There's way more brands than people are reviewing. It seems like the market is becoming really saturated, and I don't know where these fragrances are even sold. So there's the Salvezza brand, a Milano Fragrance brand, with a whole brand new line. It's not just one fragrance. So Tony Guard. I mean, there's so many. Every week we come on here, there's new brands. Do y'all know where these fragrances are even sold? Let's see here. I do have a decant of Creed Aventus. I think they made a mistake and put in Mont Blanc Explorer. Maybe if you bought a decant, maybe you got scammed. Hopefully you didn't get scammed. Who'd you buy it from, or where did you buy it from? Gaia Sora, fantastic video. Aroma from the Heaven. I saw you comment the same comment before. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I do appreciate the compliment. I think you commented on my Epic Man video with the same comment earlier. I do appreciate you popping in, but I'm not sure. Is that a phrase that you have? Thank you for popping in, though. Let's see here. We got Tony Guard has, again, I mentioned that with the brand. Don't know who they are, but there are two new fragrances from Abercrombie. We got Away for Men and Away Women. And the bottles kind of honestly look tacky. Probably eventually one day will become a $20, $25, $30 fragrance, but looks nice. We got violet, grapefruit, pineapple, geranium, and ginger. Fresh, clean, spicy fragrance. Got some sandalwood and vetiver and some stuff in the base. Looks nice. Might be one of those that smells good but doesn't last very long. We'll have to see how that one does in the future. Excited to try it. So, okay, let's jump to the fragrances. No new comments. Feel free to jump in. Let's see here. What new fragrances can we see? Celoe, don't know much about that. So, Scent of Man, who makes these fragrances? That almost sounds like somebody who ripped off somebody who has an Instagram account and made a brand. Anyways, National Food and Perfumes. Some people is talking about the fragrance of smells and fragrances from that side of the world, and they have a picture of caramel and Stroopwafels, which is kind of funny. If you've never had a Stroopwafel, it's like a dense, chewy, almost like a waffle Has like a crumbly texture, but it's kind of compacted and again, it's dense and chewy. And it kind of almost has like a caramel syrup infused into it. Very interesting. I don't know if they're supposed to be served hot or cold, but I've had them and they're good, but I almost suspect that a fresh hot one would be a lot better than a cool, mass produced one. So there's a couple other new brands that look interesting. Again, Cafe de Chiang but it's from the House of Proud. Not really sure, but they say it's sweet, creamy coffee and booze, which to me sounds like gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous. It sounds like heaven. So I'll definitely, I might try to have to get a sample of that one on my hands in the future. Another new fragrance release, a whole new line from a designer fragrance house, Calvin Klein. It's called Defy. We'll have to let me look up the notes and see what they got going on here. It looks like a fresh blue fragrance. I don't know if it'll be interesting or not. Trying to see if I can pull up the notes. Okay, we got Calvin Klein Defy. Notes of bergamot, lavender, absolute, Haitian vetiver, and amber. Doesn't sound very original, doesn't sound very special, but who knows what's mixed into those accords. Maybe it's good quality. Maybe it's just simple. We'll have to see what's about. It has a guy, looks like he's jumping out into the sky. So maybe it's just like a fresh, carefree fragrance. People are commenting that the notes sound generic, and it does sound rather simple. But maybe they're trying to capture on that like unisex or modern, kind of easy to wear molecule like DNA. Maybe that's what they're going for. And again, I called that, and I've talked about that before. That I think that a lot of brands are going in that direction. So Ruth's Gifted Hand says hi. Good to see you, Ruth. Ruth is in the house. Good to see you. Let me catch up with the comments. Good to see some comments, though. I do appreciate those. Sorry that I almost missed them. Let's see. Ronald says I came across Facon. Is that how you say it? Riviera de Parfum. It's a new 2021 Woody aromatic. I can get it rather cheap, but I don't know if the brand and haven't seen. Yeah, there's so many brands, and I don't know if they're cash grabs. I don't know who's making these fragrances, and I don't know who's selling them, and if they are selling at all. So it seems like the market is flooded, and I don't know if they're any good. So I would like to try all the fragrances, but there's too many. And honestly, with YouTube and what's popular, unless it's a brand people have some respect for, reviewing stuff like that all the time, people might not even want to watch it. Again, I reviewed tons of indie fragrances for a while, and people didn't know what to do with my channel or the content. I guess I'm joking. Ronald says I read that. Ben says, do you have a discontinued fragrance? And if you don't, and if you don't, which ones do you recommend? I have Gucci Pour Homme, 2, Fan de Fendi, Bottega Veneta Parfum. Those are some solid ones. The Fan de Fendi Assoluto was fantastic. Gucci Guilt, no, it wasn't Gucci Guilty. It was Givenchy Pie Extreme. I thought was pretty nice. I think discontinued fragrances are fine. I think that they're personally, and some people do not like this opinion, and it's fine. I respect everybody, and there's different people who like fragrances and enjoy this hobby in different ways. Again, we all wear fragrances for different reasons, and even buy fragrances differently. I personally don't hunt for vintage. I think that vintage is fun. I would rather get a hidden gem fragrance that's undervalued or about to be discontinued at a really good price before it disappears, and I find that's fun. Once it becomes more hard to get, once it becomes more expensive, to me, it's not real. I mean, I don't like to spend the time on it, but it's not really about the time. It's really about the cost. A designer fragrance that were retailed for $80, and at one time you could get for maybe $20, $30. To me, it's not a fun idea to pay $150, $200 for it. And some people love to hunt and find the best of the best fragrances of the past. And maybe you have an emotional connection or a special connection with that fragrance. And I respect that 100%. But I've smelled a lot of discontinued stuff. that was discontinued years ago, and I've reviewed stuff that's now discontinued. And I can't really think of much of anything that I would go back and want to pay the extra money for. I have fond memories of some things like Pure Tonka by Mugler or Mugler, but would I pay $200 for it? Absolutely not. There's plenty of coffee or tobacco or for other fragrances that might have a similar vibe, and I could get a niche fragrance. I could pay, put my money towards something I think is better. So there's so many new fragrances that are so good coming out. I don't feel the personal need to do that. So let me catch up with the comments here. Great question. If you are searching for, if you do love fougères, I think that Viktor and Rolf Antidote was highly underrated and flew under the radar and was a really great modern fougère, full-bodied, high quality, and long-lasting. So I don't want to focus too much on the discontinued stuff, but there's I could help you more. Let me know. Message me, maybe on Instagram, and I could give you a big list. And I've talked about maybe some discontinued stuff in the past. I don't focus on it too much usually, but Joseph Teminian, good to see you pop in here. Morning, guys. Good to see that's morning for you. We must live on the opposite side of the world. I'm happy to see everybody pop in from all across the world. For me, it's about 6 p.m., 6:30 exactly. It says, morning, guys. It says, so gorgeous. Le Labo, oh, you love Another 13, Joseph. That one's nice. That is a good fragrance. What's your thoughts on it? It's nice. To me, Le Labo is long-lasting, but they kind of are synthetic. But I used to beat up on them a little bit too much, I felt. The brand is intended to be a brand that's made for layering. You're supposed to buy 2, 3, 4, maybe more of their fragrances and spray a couple of them together and then get a fragrance, depending on what you want to wear that day. Maybe one day you want a little bit more sandalwood, so you spray up a little bit more Santal 33. Maybe one day you want a little bit of a fresher feeling, so you put a bunch of them on, but you put on a couple extra sprays of Bergamot 22. That's what that brand's supposed to be. So I used to judge them as standalone fragrances. Do I still think that they're a little bit expensive? And do I still, I don't know, maybe I'm still not really enthusiastic about the house, but Another 33 is nice. There's the Noir 29, I think it is. That's also pretty popular. Ronald says Struppenwaffle is probably the most popular treat from my country. The Struppenwaffle is awesome. It is nice. I want to get a warm one. I want to get a homemade one. I need to go over there to the Netherlands and visit that side of the world. I love fish and everything. I have a little bit of Irish and Welsh blood in me and all that. I think it's off Britain, but what are those islands called? There's it's like it's not Danish, it's the Cornish. Is it called the Cornish Islands? There was some kind of a different group of like English people. They were a little bit rebellious, and I kind of like that history. I'd love to go over there and visit that. Some people consider them as almost pirates. Pretty cool people, I think. Not bad pirates. Kind of like avoiding taxes pirates, not stealing and burning down villages, avoiding taxes. Ruth's Gifted Hands says hi. Good to see you. Aroma from Heaven says, now you know. Great reviews, like your style. Well, I appreciate that, Aroma from Heaven. I appreciate that. Thank you for that encouragement and the love. I do my best over here. Randy says, are you a fan of MDCI? I need to try more of them and explore their house, but I did try Blue Boy. I thought it was pretty good. I probably need to test it more. And what was that one? Fougère Platine? I never say it right. That's one of their more famous ones, and I did try it, and I thought it was a fantastic fragrance. And I think I have a review of it. I think I've released that review, and I think I forget, but I think I said it was a masterpiece. They do have some real winners. I don't hear much hype or talk about their newer releases. Again, some people felt like the Blue Boy was a Ventusy or jumping on that trend, and some people haven't seemed to be too enthusiastic about some of their newer ones. But as far as I know, they're pretty well composed and pretty well blended, and I don't think you could criticize them for much. So pretty solid house. I do need to try more and see if there's maybe one that I would buy and add to my collection. Joseph says, guys, what are your top 4 for every season? Can you answer to? That's a big question. That's another one that I need to write down. message me on Instagram so I remember. That's one of the something that I need to make into a video. So I don't know if I should answer that. That's a big discussion. That's too much to handle here, and I think in a live. But for fresh fragrances, for the spring, I love Rivellare from Fragranza. That has the mojito, that lime, that freshness. I love things like Cartier Roadster Sport. That one is about to be discontinued. And again, if you're looking for discontinued ones, that one you can still find for a decent price. If you love more cologne style fragrances, get that Cartier Roadster Sport. Especially if you like mint, I don't think you'd be disappointed. If you're looking for that in that discontinued world, if you want to think like me and get them before the prices go crazy, get that Roadster Sport. I talked about that a couple months ago. That's going to be one of the ones that people will talk about in a year or two and be like, dang, I wish I could have got it before it was 150, $200. And I'm not trying, I do not have a stock of it. I'm not trying to get the hype up. I'm not trying to, do that so I can make money off of it. Trust me. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'd have more money if I did stuff like that, but I don't. Let's see here. Guys, so I don't know. Maybe I should give you one fragrance for every season. Is that a good topic? Do y'all want me to talk about that? Let's see here. For summer, I hope that Prada El Homme, that fresh version's good. Looking forward to that. I love my Dolce & Gabbana Swimming in La Prairie. Very salty, ambergris. Smells like the fresh ocean to me. And Bulgari Aqua Marine. Great fragrance. Some people don't think the performance is great, but by golly, it's one of the best summer fragrances out there. No doubt about it. Some people beat up on it. Some people seem to have forgotten about it. Bulgari Aqua Marine, still one of the best summer fragrances out there. There is no doubt about that. Fall fragrances, one that's discontinued, getting harder to get. You might want to jump on the bandwagon if you are looking for discontinued. Polo Supreme Leather. Really nice. I have it in the collection. I really enjoy that one with a leather jacket in the fall, getting up all cozied. Fantastic fragrance. You could go for Dolce & Gabbana The One. There's a lot of great fall fragrances. One of the ones that I personally love out of my collection is Versace's La Yucawam, famous for being a clone of Tuscan leather. But hey, it works and it's great for the price. If you want a charismatic leather fragrance without maybe a little bit less rugged and a little bit less aggressive than the original Tuscan leather, you might want to try it out. Let's see here. Catch up with the comments. Making Sense says, "What's up, Fritz, Sam, B, and everyone else? Good to see you, Making Sense. Oh, and I see the $1.99. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. I don't ask for donations, but I do appreciate that. And Making Sense is in the house, and y'all know that he's making some good content too. So shout out to you, my friend. Do appreciate that donation. And I don't know how much of it, even if a cut of that I get. I don't know. For all I know, YouTube takes half of it, but I do appreciate that. Maybe that can go towards a soda. But the thought is what counts. The thought was, let's see here. Hey, Ruth. Yes, Ruth, we got a good crew in here. We got some good people in the house. Hi, everybody's greeting each other. Good to see we got some fragrance friendship. Joseph, you retracted some comments. Okay, and then you commented. I was about to say, I always worry when people retract their comments that I said something wrong, or maybe, I confused somebody or something. Scented Melanin is in the house. I don't know. I forget. And I might make myself really look bad here, but I need to catch up and double check. You probably have a YouTube. You probably create content here on YouTube. But I remember you, Scented Melanin. I remember you more from Instagram. And I appreciate that you are over here. And you do have a good Instagram. I do know that. So Joseph, good to see you pop in here, says what's the cheapest masterpiece? What's the most expensive masterpiece? That is a good question. Maybe it deserves to be a video, possibly. Cheapest masterpiece. Let me think about that. I definitely can't say anything that's a clone. It could be a masterpiece. A lot of clones are really good for the price, really affordable. But if we're talking about, I don't know, y'all. If you've watched my channel, if you know me and you know what I choose, I'm probably going to have to go with the Lalique Pour Homme. I know it's not for everybody. I know that it has some of that fougere vibe. For some people, especially if you're a trendy younger guy, you're going to say it's old school, but really it's not. It's modern. And I've actually saw somebody who reviews Fougere fragrances and prefers some of those rougher, more oak moss fragrances, and they say that it's very modern and sweet off the top. It does kind of have one foot in the the 2000s and one foot in the maybe the 90s. But Lalique Pour Homme, you can still get it for around 30 or so, 35 maybe, but there was a time where you could get that one closer to $20. And the quality on that fragrance, again, it's not exactly unisex, so if you're a lady watching, sorry about that, you might not go for Lalique Pour Homme, but it's great. Classy, upscale, makes you smell almost like $1,000,000. The blend needs perfection. Lalique Pour Homme for the price is great. Another one, it really is kind of a masterpiece, is also Moschino. I always say it wrong, and some people get mad at me with how I speak. If you know how to say these, feel free to make a video on how to say it, or maybe tell me how to. Moschino Uomo. It's a great one with the question mark. Great fragrance, highly underrated. 4-ounce bottle. It's also, you get an extra ounce. Really a great classic timeless fragrance as well. And honestly, if you're scared of powdery fragrances, it might convert you. It's about the only fragrance with a little. It's not an overtly powdery fragrance, just a little hint of it. It's about the only fragrance I've known that I can take that has much of any of that. So go as far as expensive masterpiece fragrances. It's actually a citrus fragrance. It's not the most expensive, but Clive Christian's 1872 for a fresh, well-composed fragrance actually surprised me. Very good, and I have seen it on sale before for fairly decent prices. But again, that one's not the most expensive one. I don't know if I've ever tried a fragrance that's like $700+ and I thought it was a masterpiece and I thought it was something to save for and desire for. Roger Dove, is that how you say it? Great Britain. I think it used to be about an $800 fragrance or something like that. I think somebody said they told me last time that it's been creeping up, and then prices have been creeping up in general, but I hadn't looked at it in a while, and I think it's like at 1,500 or something. I think it's a gorgeous fragrance. I think it's high quality. I loved it. That might be the most expensive one that I might be consider a masterpiece that I've ever tried, but I think it's way overpriced. I think that fragrance should be, maybe a $500 fragrance, maybe 700. Again, I don't know the price of the ingredients going into that fragrance, but I really doubt that it, I don't think they're giving you $500 worth of oils in that fragrance or something like that, or even 300 or 200. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it to me, but I appreciate your kindness and your honesty. Well, Joseph, that's what I'm here for. I hope that y'all see that, and I hope that y'all appreciate that. Thank you for that compliment. That means the world. That's, I'm very honest, and some people would say down to earth with my style of fragrance reviewing. And I wanted to, again, make my channel to help, y'all know what my channel is all about, helping people find the best fragrances, and fragrances they might connect with, and making sense of it so you can find that fragrance that you might connect with. Also talking about value, what's actually good for the money, what's worth it for the money, and kind of in a style to me that's easy to understand and makes sense for anybody and everybody. So I do appreciate that, and thank you. And again, I don't know if I'd be considered myself professional. I do appreciate that, but I don't know if I can call myself professional. Again, I don't want to put on a suit. I just don't feel like that's me. It's not that I'm uncomfortable. I did wear a suit for a while, and it almost became like a second skin for me. I was comfortable in the suit, but I didn't. It's not really me, and I really prefer other types of more maybe relaxed clothing with my own personality. So, anyways, and if you watch some of my upcoming videos. Actually, I'm outside in the summer heat, in that southern heat for you guys with the humidity, and I'm sweating like a dog. And you can kind of tell that I'm sweating. So I'm not sweating now, but in the videos, y'all will be able to see like I'm sweating like a dog. And some of my older videos as well, I have like sweat dripping off my face. If you're even outside sometimes for a couple minutes, it'll hit you, and there's not much you can do about that heat. So if y'all like my outside videos, if you want to see that nature, if you want that background, I've had some people asking me if it was fake. No, it's real, and maybe some people live in cities or maybe more of a desert, maybe a drier area. Again, I do live in the South. It's kind of considered subtropical. Some people think it's beautiful, but again, we got animals and bugs and all kinds of things and snakes and whatnot. So, anyways, we'll stop talking about that. Let's see if there's any other new fragrances that catch our attention. I don't know if there's going to be any in particular. Let's see some new additions. There's a new Penhaligon's Impressa Hair and Body Mist. Not sure about that. There's Bodycology, which looks like a hairspray or a body mist brand. There's Lattafa has a new fragrance. It looks like a different presentation. Let's see here. It says cardamom, myrtle. Looks like a complex citrusy, maybe a balsamic kind of fragrance. Looks nice. It's called Ejazi. I think that's how you say it. EJAAZI. So I'm sure that'll become discounted in the future, and maybe we'll see somebody review that. That would be fun. There's that brand Fueguia 1833 with a bunch of new fragrances. They have one called Oud Vanille, which is always a combination people seem to like. Not a terribly original name, but looks like it could be good. I have not tried Parallax Olfactory. I don't know if they're a clone house or kind of puts a spin or twist on oils like that they get from mass distribution, but kind of simple bottles, but could be good. I haven't tried those. Let's see. There's a couple new brands. Miller Harris. I think they've been around, but I haven't really tried those. There's one called Foie Quay, like a bouquet, but with an F. I haven't tried those. Haven't seen anybody talk about that house. Let's see. And there's a new one from Mekalev, Seducteur. Anyways, it's got rosemary, artemisia, mint. I like mint. Bergamot, cinnamon, patchouli, nutmeg, thyme, leather, oak moss, and pine tree. So might be green, might be fresh, might be a little spicy, woody. Not really sure exactly, but sounds good. Not sure if it's going to be more of a confident, grown-up fragrance. Not really sure, but looks nice. Anyways, any other fragrances that are on your radar that y'all want to see me review? Let's see. Ronald Japinga says, which Zaharoff's new rose fragrance, does it look good to you? It does look good. Again, I know that it's meant to be unisex. I don't think it's marketed more towards women, but looking at that DNA of that fragrance, it does look more feminine for me. I even felt that his Zaharoff signature, the one that had that apple floral kind of thing going on, I did feel that even though it was very unisex, guys could easily wear it. I felt like it was something that I would prefer more on a lady. So that rose is, I can tell by the notes, it's probably going to go that way for me. But it does look nice. I know that some people are probably getting excited about those, so they're definitely worth trying. Zaharoff definitely has his own unique style. I've seen some people maybe who don't like it, but I think that it's pretty well received. It's not vintage, but I don't know how to describe his style. You have to try it. It's got a unique feeling about it. It's kind of like dense. It's kind of like it feels like it has a density, like a core, like a seed or something that's hard. And then it feels like it has like a mist around it or something like that, like a diffusive quality around this like hard core. To me, it's quite interesting. That's how it feels to me when with his DNA of his fragrances. I like the noir version. That's my favorite so far. I do hope to try his new fragrances in the future. We'll have to see when I get my nose on them. But Veritas says Lattafa, in my experience, they are good. Yeah, really good for the money. Lattafa. Again, they're not, at least in my experience, they're not really a clone house exactly. Some of their fragrances, like Rogba, took some inspiration. Like the background does smell like Oud Bouquet by Lancôme, but not all their fragrances are that way. And sometimes they kind of like mix or put their own twist, I guess you could say, on some. But again, not every fragrance is that way from them. I do look forward to more of their fragrances. And again, I do have one from the house coming. I've heard really good things about it. I don't know if he reviews fragrances anymore, but I think his name was the Scented Engineer. He reviewed fragrances in his car. I think he stopped reviewing, and maybe he's come back a couple times on and off. He was a cool guy. I like that guy. And he put me onto that fragrance, and I'll review it. I'm hoping that it's good. So, anyways, I see 6 people are still here. We've been on here for almost an hour. I honestly haven't even had dinner, so I probably need to wrap it up. I might have to cook myself a quick dinner. We'll have to see what I can do about that. But do y'all have any thoughts or any feelings that y'all would like to share with me? Any news? Anything y'all would like to see new about my channel? I'm hoping that I can get my nose on Azzaro's Most Wanted and a few fragrances like that. I'd love to do some reviews of those. But again, y'all know I'm doing things at my own pace. I have lots of samples and discovery sets and lots of catching up to do, lots of big things. But again, I'm not always onto the newest, most popular designer fragrance. Maybe if I had enough money, I could buy those pretty quickly. But throwing that kind of money at the wall, to try to get the clicks is not something that I'm too interested in. And I don't have I guess I don't have the money for it right now. So Marg Yasora says, thank you for your time. Yes, it's fun. I hope that y'all are having a good weekend. And I am going to wish y'all a very, very happy weekend. If you do celebrate the 4th of July with freedom in general, especially if you're in America, happy 4th. Or just have a happy weekend, no matter where you live. Have a happy, happy weekend. Enjoy life. If you're still, quarantined and all that, again, try to Skype your family or friends, or at least have some way of being social, and have a good time out there the best you can, my friends. I'll see you soon. Have a very fun weekend. Sorry that maybe if we were on here for a little bit of a short time, I wasn't on here for the longest live tonight, but I might try my hand at Twitch again. We'll see if I keep doing this. But again, it is frustrating if you're very good at a game, maybe the best as far as I know, and people aren't watching you, and they'd rather watch somebody who's very bad at the game. Let's see. Randy says, keep up the great content. I will. I'll do my very best. And thank y'all for your encouragement and everything. Let me know. Maybe I'll come out with some more fresh fragrance reviews. I know that some of y'all are still looking forward and wanting to hear more about the fresh fragrances. Again, I haven't released too many like top summer fragrance list recently, but I did a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago. I actually made some of those. So if that's what you are looking for from my channel, I talked about those a little while ago. Maybe I should release another video like that, but I'm not really trying to play the algorithm too much like that. But anyways, have a good weekend, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, live well, enjoy life, and I'll catch you on the next video. I upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Y'all know how it is. And I'll see you soon. Have a good one, everybody. I love you. Have a good time. And bye, everybody. Peace.